Happy New Year, nerds, and welcome to the Brothers Take podcast, a podcast where nerdy brothers get together, usually each and every week, primarily to talk gaming. But in this week's episode, we are going to, as promised, do our spoiler cast for Volume 2 and the finale of Stranger Things. One of our absolute favorite shows. But did they stick the landing on the finale? That's what we're going to be talking about. And we're getting into full spoilers on this whole thing. So please do not listen to this unless you've actually watched the show. Or maybe you're someone who watched reactions to the show instead. Or you're just someone who's interested in a conversation around the show. And you don't really care about spoilers. But just do be warned that there is going to be spoilers from the moment that the intro starts. My name is Chris. I'm joined once again by my brothers Adam.
Hello.
And Eric.
Hello.
And we are back in the room this week to talk about Stranger Things one last time. And we would like you guys to join us on the discussion. So if you guys are watching YouTube, make sure you jump down into the comments to share all your thoughts on the Stranger Things finale, all the new reveals that happened in Volume 2, how the show ended. Are you satisfied? Are you dissatisfied? Are you annoyed? Are there plot holes you want to talk about? Did any of it actually happen? Let us know all your thoughts. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell for future content. And to those of you who are listeners on audio platforms, you could touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on the final episodes of Stranger Things. But without further ado, let's go upside down one last time. Okay, so I suppose first we got to start with Volume 2, the batch of like 3 episodes that came before the finale. So We've got Episode 7, Jock. There's a lot to talk about, so I just want to we're jumping straight in. We're not doing any of this kind of, what were your overall thoughts and all this? We'll just jump straight in, right? Episode 7, Jock.
Right.
I really liked this episode. So if you remember, this is the episode where they make the plan to electrify the Demogorgon so they can try tap Will back into the hive mind. But that's actually the least interesting thing that happens in this episode. Some of the more interesting things that happened for me personally was, first of all, we get Callie is back in.
Yeah.
She explains to Eleven how she got caught, how they just killed all her friends, and then what they were doing with her in the lab and what she discovered during her escape, which was they were pumping her blood into all these pregnant women in the hopes of restarting all the experiments that created them in the first place. And that leads her to this pitch of a plan to Eleven from then onwards of there's only one way this cycle can end.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be that we could kill Vecna, but the possibility of creating a new Vecna is still there, and this could all start all over again. So it can only. So what did you guys think of that storyline? I suppose, with Callie and the pregnant women and all that stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought that was really cool, fucked up, for sure. But I suppose I can't fully talk about that without doing a full analyzing of the show.
Yeah.
Which is that I do kind of think that's while that's really cool, I also think that the military and Linda Hamilton's character didn't serve that much to the story for that to be as cool as that actually is. Because it's such a cool moment.
Yeah.
But it feels a little bit okay. But there's it's still side kind of stuff. And so maybe that should have been in season 4, or maybe that should have been in volume 1. I do feel that overall the military probably should have been gone by the end of volume 1 and not in
Okay,
it
okay, okay.
the rest of it. But I did think it was really fucked up, like Linda Hamilton, like the description of Linda Hamilton being this vampire of just constantly draining blood out of this little girl,
Mm.
and then killing probably lots and lots and lots of pregnant women.
Yeah,
Because it was poisoning them.
they didn't.
They didn't shy away from the kind of abuse of it, like.
But they also did. Callie tells Eleven this, so now she's aware that there are a bunch of. I know they're very sick; they're dying, but there's a bunch of pregnant women in Hawkins' lab, right? In the Upside Down.
They're somewhere, yeah.
So they make no attempt to rescue them.
No.
No, Hawkins'
That's kind
lab
of-
in the Upside Down
that's kind of
is
fucked up.
completely abandoned. They're not there.
Oh no, sorry, not in the Hawkins lab, in the base, in the military
actual-
base.
Yeah.
In the base in the Upside Down. That's where. Because when
Yeah.
Callie tried to escape, that's where she saw them.
Yeah, depending on where they kept her first.
Just thought it was interesting that they just left that there. They made no attempt to rescue the pregnant women.
I didn't really
Unless
pick that-
they're all dead at this point already. I don't know.
See, I thought they were more dead, and I didn't think that was at Hawkins.
Oh.
I thought that was somewhere else, and then they moved Callie with them because they were like,
Okay,
she's
that's
not
possible.
working. We need 11. So then they brought
I guess
her.
that's possible.
That's
yeah.
the way I picked it up, anyway.
Yeah. I suppose they don't totally specify that actually. Adam, were you digging that storyline at all?
It's kind of hard. Like even when you said, "Oh yeah, like let's talk about that episode," like I was like, "Okay, what happened in that episode?" You know, I'd say for those 3 episodes, absolutely nothing really stood out.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think that's more to do with the overall pacing and the writing and the way it was shot, and like I think there's a lot more negatives than there is positives on those 3 particular episodes. I think maybe that's probably the stronger episode of the 3.
I thought so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought so.
because we're just coming out of the big kind of showdown that happened in episode 4. So you're kind of the heat is already high, and then it kind of dwindles down and plateaus a little bit. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of for the season that's supposed to like wrap up everything.
Hmm.
I don't know if I would say everything is wrapped up, and that would be one of the things where it's like, okay,
Interesting.
what actually like it wraps up the main characters.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's fine. But yeah, I think the military aspect of it is left a bit open.
Yeah, like what happened there?
Yeah, which leads me to like kind of fears of a fucking spin-off season.
I have no doubt Netflix will try to do spin-offs
Yeah.
to this thing anyway, right? I
Could be
think
the
there's already
Stranger
talks.
Things extended universe.
Yeah, there's already talks about that. And unfortunately, there's nothing any of us could do to stop that or control that. Even if the Duffer Brothers don't want that, I'm sure that Netflix have all the rights to do that if they want. Yeah, this doesn't like Stranger Things doesn't stop here. Like there's no way. It might be called something different. It might take place somewhere else. I don't think these characters will come back though.
No. Until they realize, oh, the show's not doing well, and then they feel like that's the only way
Yeah,
to make
contractually bring them back then, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
years later when they're a bit older and do the big reunion thing.
Do
Poss- that
nostalgia
could
baiting.
that could possibly happen for sure. That could possibly happen. I thought the best moment in episode 7 though was the scene between Dustin and Steve.
Is this episode 7 or 5?
Episode 7. Oh, 5. Sorry, I said episode 7, didn't I, by accident at
Yeah.
the start?
You-
Sorry,
yeah.
I meant episode 5 this whole time. Sorry, episode 5, Shock Jock.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's a big fight between Dustin and Steve that starts off as just an argument where they start actually putting their cards on the table. Dustin starts calling, or Steve starts calling Dustin out for his behavior. And then they get into an actual physical fight. And I thought that scene was, to this point, was my favorite sequence of the entire season. I thought it was fucking excellent. The
Yeah.
two actors were great in it.
Oh, I think Steve in general, like every moment with him on screen is gold. I do think he's the best character in the show. He's very consistent. Um, and just every moment with him just feels like, oh, there's actual like little kind of progression of character.
Mhm.
It is in that episode that they unfortunately write the greatest like death sequence that doesn't actually fulfill.
Is that Jonathan and Nancy? They kick it off, and it
Oh, right.
continues in the next
The
episode. Yeah,
next
so we
episode,
will
okay.
definitely talk about that scene. But
Yeah.
there is that moment of Dustin say realizing he's wrong, and being in a race, rushing to Nancy and Jonathan to say, "Don't touch the thing that you've just seen," and you're like, "Why? What is it?" And then they just cut to black when Nancy shoots. I thought even
Oh,
the
yeah.
pacing of that scene I thought was really, really good. I thought it was like, oh shit, like something is amping up here. That's really cool. And to hear Dustin so dramatically screaming, I was wrong, please don't touch it, whatever you do, don't touch it, we're all going to die. I was like, this is fucking cool. I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah, no, that scene was really good. The emotion between those two was a very good like scene for sure. And I actually, yeah, I did think I was like, did they? Did they just kill four of those characters right there and then? But
okay, yeah.
like I was waiting for a split second, but I was like, no, they wouldn't have killed them off in a giant explosion.
No, it's not like them to kill anyone. I did think as well, though, that they in that argument they missed one opportunity, which was like I think they could have mentioned Susie. We get no mention of her all season. So
Yeah.
what happened to Susie? I think there was an opportunity to just be like for Steve when he was telling Dustin, like, you're pushing everyone away, man. It's like, why do you think Susie left you, or something like that? That's enough just to, because I think it's probably implied that they broke up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just to acknowledge it might have been
Well,
just
it's
just a quick moment of
Is it not in season 4 that they say that they broke up?
no,
No.
No? Okay.
no. She'll do anything to save her dusty butt in season 4.
Season 4? Is she in season 4?
Yeah. They go to her freaky house. It's cheaper by the dozen. Do you
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
That's the last we hear or see of Susie.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I just thought Steve
Yeah, that is a bit weird.
could have thrown in that one line. It wouldn't add much to it, but it would be enough to kind of acknowledge.
Well, that would be a nice
happened
one
to Susie?
kick off Dustin punching and fighting.
Well, yeah, well, that and him saying Eddie died for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of those things would have been like real push Dustin over the edge.
Yeah. And I thought the way Dustin delivered, what the hell is that supposed to mean, was really felt very genuine. It didn't feel like drama, you know. It felt very genuine, like how someone would actually say that if they were really caught off guard by what someone had just said to them. But yeah, okay, let's lead into episode 6 then. And that scene that you're talking about, Adam, Nancy and Jonathan, in the room that is just slowly filling and falling
paint?
apart, and
a cool
because
set
because
design.
they shot. I thought that scene was excellent. That's, I think, the best scene of this episode.
Yeah, it is really good. It is just a bit unfortunate that, like, I don't think there's any great way to end that, but I think it's more to do with the length. The length of the scene lends itself to they're doomed. So when that doesn't happen, it's a bit. I kind of feel like there's a lot here that could have been on the chopping room floor. But I would say that for this entire season, there's a lot that could have ended up on the chopping room floor. There's a lot of scenes that overstayed their welcome, I think, and that is one of them.
Okay.
But it's different if it led to their demise. If it led to their demise, you want that length because you want to spend every moment with them before they pass. So they do a lot of that in this season. That leads to I'm actually not on the edge of my seat for anything that I see.
Yeah, because I don't believe that they're actually in danger.
Yeah, like what really frustrated me throughout is every sequence is someone saying something, and then the end of the scene is someone else will just come on screen and say something that quickly changes to the next scene. They do this little trick on trying to. It's their way of trying to make the pacing quicker, but the pacing isn't quick, so it doesn't work, and it just becomes way more obvious of a technique that that we're trying to move this along. So every scene is it's two people talking, three people talking, then someone will come in, Murray, Robin, whoever comes in, says something, next scene.
Yeah, so like, guys, you need to see this or something.
Yeah,
Like that.
and it's just it's so
Right.
like it's so jarring. Like
Yeah.
it happens in every single sequence, but it doesn't quicken the pace, which is what that's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So then it just becomes really, really obvious. So I think a lot of the editing was hugely distracting for this season, for me at least.
Yeah. Okay. Eric, what did you think of the Nancy Jonathan sequence?
I really liked it. I've heard many complaints. I've actually even heard people be very confused by the scene, like
Oh, I've
needing
heard this too.
like needing it to be clarified. Of like, did they just break up? And it's like, well, yeah, they threw the ring away and said, "Will you not propose to me?"
Like, will you
And
not marry me? Yeah.
yeah, I've seen that pretty. But like they were doing it in a way that like I suppose we're more used to when people break up. It's more angry and more negative. While this is a beautiful moment of them both accepting that they're only together because of really shared trauma rather than having any real interest in each other's lives. And I even liked like the start of the moment when Nancy was like, "I hate the Clash." I laughed at that. I thought
Yes.
that's so
I thought
fucking-
personally, and I can see like why this scene wouldn't gel with people as well. But I really loved this scene. I thought it was the best performance from the two of them in like a long time.
Mhm.
I thought it was a great set piece, and I thought the music was excellent. So they played the music, like when it was all over and they realized they were okay. They played the music that they played when Nancy and Jonathan got together, but they've played that now that they've broken up. And I do like that it was shared trauma that got them together, and it's shared trauma that actually helps them break up. It's that moment of realizing that we're going to die that allows them to actually say what they really feel. Almost as if like if this is our last chance, then let's get everything out on the table, literally, and they're on a table as they're doing it. And I just thought it was actually I thought it was one of the better written scenes personally, in terms of getting dialogue across. Versus like there's a scene that we will talk about, I'm sure, that comes up in the next episode, that is the exact opposite of this scene in terms of the way the writing of this show normally goes, where it's like I normally I think they find better ways of saying what they're trying to say, as opposed to literally like having to hit the audience over the head and like explain it in the like most literal sense, as to what this scene is about, So I did think that the breakup was done in a more interesting way than them just breaking up.
But I think, yeah, and I understand the confusion of that scene. I don't think it's like very black and white that this is them like breaking up. That it does come across a little bit like we are about to die right now. So it's like will you not marry me is kind of like a black humor way of like I would have actually proposed right now.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
okay.
it doesn't. It's not the ring even going away is like in that moment the chaos of it too. So I just think I don't think it's well landed at all.
Okay.
I think the performances are fantastic, and I couldn't help but think about, because they're both together in reality, how challenging that scene might have been.
Yeah.
And they did do a phenomenal job, but I do think the writing is not as, or at least the objective of that writing piece isn't as clear as they should have made it. Because
Okay.
I actually found towards the end of the season where I was just like, I don't know, I didn't see why they wouldn't have actually ended up together. It wasn't as like definitive, I think, in that moment.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I just thought, because doesn't he talks about how like when he took the ring out and he actually I think after he says, "Will you not marry me?" he does say, "I thought that this would fix things, but in reality, it would just make things worse."
Yeah.
You know, so I do think that in the long run, and that's why he'd hesitated for so long. He'd realized that getting married was never going to be
The solution.
the solution to why they were drifting and why their relationship wasn't feeling as electric as it used to. And because the reality is that they were just drifting, and they needed to acknowledge that they were kind of only staying together because they felt like they had to stay together, rather than they actually love each other in that way.
Yeah, I think it's probably, in reality, that's not the moment that wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind in that, and equally in the next episode, that's not the moment you would do that. I think they picked the terrible moments to get these,
to get the characters to say what they finally need to say.
Yeah. With the exception of Stephen Dustin, I think that's
the Stephen Dustin sequence
moment.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It led to the walkie break-in, which breaks down communication,
which leads to all of this.
So that sequence is really, really well done. But there's just something about that sequence that was poorly placed, I think.
Okay, so it's in this episode as well that they do the whole hospital sequence with the Demodogs.
Oh yeah, the Jurassic Park moment.
Yeah, the Jurassic Park moment. Now, there's a couple of things here. I thought it was really cool that they were doing that, but I don't know if they fully achieved this moment the way that it should land, really. Like, a couple of things in this sequence didn't really sit right with me personally. The Demodogs looking for the people while the song is playing in the room.
Yeah,
like, they'd surely go straight towards the sound.
Especially because they can hear.
Yeah, because it's the sound of something else that leads them away.
Yes.
So that part, like, I think I would have liked. Yeah, I don't know. I know that the struggle there is, well, once you turn it off, the girls can't get out or whatever. But sure, they're busy having a monologue anyway, so they're in no rush. They're in no rush to get out anyway. Yeah, they just you can't repeat the running up that hill moment, and it felt like they were trying to.
Yeah.
And it didn't land for me personally. I was like, we've done this before. Yeah, we've done this before. So, however, I thought Sadie Sink's performance when she did wake up with Caleb, that was beautiful. That was really well done. Yeah. But it was just a lead up to it. Didn't quite hit the way I'm sure they hoped it would for me. I don't know. Any thoughts on the whole hospital sequence and the girls escaping part?
Yeah, I did have it. Like, obviously, it's blatantly there. That's like that song is playing, and it's not exactly quiet. And like the Demodogs are like right next to them.
Yeah.
Still not hearing, but yet they'll hear something off in the distance. That doesn't obviously that doesn't work. But no, I was kind of on the edge of the seat. I think I was just being there for the moment of just be like, just fucking move, damn it.
Okay, yeah. You got caught in.
I think I just let myself get swept up into the moment of what they were trying to do. And then of course we had the awesome Cara Bueno just stick a fucking gas cylinder into the yoke and blow those Demodogs. I was like, fuck yes, that's badass.
Go on, Karen.
Yeah.
Go on, Karen.
I also laughed. Me and Dad, we both laughed when it was when Max was talking to Holly. And she's talking about the song how she has Kate Bush, and Holly's crying. She's like, I don't have Kate Bush. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, that is a funny little line. Nell is a great little actor. The girl who plays Holly.
She's brilliant.
She's very, very good. I really enjoyed her in her sequences. I think what I got from Volume 2 was a lot of, and I think you can kind of hear it here between the three of us, a lot of mixed kind of thoughts on it, where it's I like this part, I don't like this part, I like this, where it's never fully oh, I love that whole episode. There was just kind of a mixed bag of I'm not sure how to feel about that, or I would have done that differently, and then this part, oh no, I really like that part, you know. Is there anything else from that episode before we go to episode 7?
Well, that's the episode as well where I think we get hints.
Oh, sorry, we got the explanation of the Upside Down. Yeah. What you guys think of that?
Fucking brilliant. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think it puts it into a sense that's like, oh, okay, it now really makes sense in that once the portal opened, I suppose, the Upside Down got caught in that time zone because it was connected
Yeah,
to then an alternate version, I suppose, of the Abyss, which was the top of it.
yeah,
And so it really, I think, made sense in a somewhat scientific, but yet also keeping in that kind of supernatural way that Stranger Things does. So I like that as well because I think it just simplified. I think it simplified it in a very simple explanation rather
hmm
than trying to be like if it was just the Upside Down because we did see the Abyss at the
we
end of
did.
season four,
Yeah, yeah.
which we assumed was the Upside Down before
Before it became
the
Upside Down
Upside Down.
Hawkins. Yeah, yeah.
Which then, if they did that, they'd have to go into this whole explanation of why did he make it look like Hawkins back in 1983,
hmm
right? Rather than what they did, which I think was a just cleaner explanation.
Yeah.
So I
I,
was,
what I liked about it was it doesn't in any way like break the mythology or anything that much. Um, I suppose in the trailer in the lead up to Volume 2, they had the bit where Dustin says, everything we thought we knew about the Upside Down has been dead wrong, right? And I was like, I bet you not.
Hmm.
At least one of us will have nailed it. And then I watched it and I went, okay, no, I guess we were probably all wrong. Because I think most people had a thought of like it's probably something to do with time travel. This is like, this is what Hawkins is going to look like in the future, and then they've came back in time, and it's happening in our time, and all this kind of theories and stuff. So, having that, it's actually a wormhole, and it's a interdimensional bridge. It's a space between worlds, as opposed to it being a world in its own right. It was like, okay, yeah, that's not what I thought it was, and it is still interesting. Um, Adam, did you like the explanation of what the Upside Down actually is?
I didn't mind it. It wasn't like it was serviceable, like it served the story for this season. But it led me to like I don't know, my memory's a bit fuzzy with the other previous seasons with the details and stuff. But
Hmm
I'm just wondering how consistent this explanation is going back. Because it does make it quite isolated because of the wall being the tunnel connecting the two planes. Um, is that consistent with previous seasons? Like, did the Russians have access in Russia?
That part, I don't know.
So
they had a Demogorgon.
they definitely had a Demogorgon. It seems a bit strange if they would have had to transport that all the way from Hawkins to Russia. Um, so I'm wondering, like, did they have access? They were certainly trying to open.
They were trying to open a rift,
Yeah,
and they couldn't successfully do it, so they
yeah,
came to Hawkins
to do it.
because there's a better connection there, I guess, right?
Yeah,
And I suppose the explanation now is because that is actually where the connecting point is.
yeah,
I wonder if because you do see a small portal open in Russia at the start of season 3 when they try to open it, and you see some tentacles come out, and then
yeah,
and then it explodes and it closes again. So I
yeah.
wonder, are they actually opening a second wormhole in doing that? And in the
Maybe.
process of doing that, like in the previous experiments, had some of the particles come through, had some stuff come through, but they never fully were able to keep it open or something like that. I don't know.
Mm.
I'm sure there's always going to be some level of inconsistency as well.
Yeah, I think the explanation is quite serviceable to this season. I don't know if I'm overly satisfied with it being the explanation for the series as
The
a
whole
whole.
show, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It wasn't like a oh my God, like that explains everything moment, for me at least.
Yeah.
Um, but it's fine. I think it's just because of how it ends then as well, where it leads to like what the actual big bad of the whole thing is. That seemed a bit like let's revert back on our writing a tad.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. Um, I like I like when it zoomed out and it showed the whole thing. I thought that looked really cool and very Dark City. It was the thoughts I got from it, actually. The one thing that bothered me about it, actually, was that means that wall is not new. Obviously, the wall that they've been trying to, they found, and they thought maybe Holly's on the other side of this, and it was big misdirection. That's not where she is at all. But they had never seen that before. But it's obviously been there all along and surrounds the whole thing. And they've spent the last year or whatever doing these dungeon crawls every grid at a time in Hawkins and haven't been able to find Vecna. But they never, ever came across this wall at the edge of town.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little bit strange to me. I was like, I mean, the place isn't that big.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean by it being, it's quite serviceable to the story that they're trying to tell, but I don't know how much it really holds up as the explanation. Like if it was just created within the context of this season, then fair enough. But to stand as something that, you know, the military have been going in, there's been lots of people going in, doing excavations in the Upside Down, to never have come across the wall is, yeah.
I thought the military did know about the wall.
Yeah, the military know what it is, right?
But since season 1,
well, possibly.
Maybe.
I mean, it's Brenner's notes that explain it, so it's possible that the government know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Well, those who need to know. I'm sure not every single like grunt knows exactly what this place is.
Hello,
would have
our
been-
new
I
chef.
guess
Did
it
you
would have
know
been
about the
helpful.
wormhole?
It would have been helpful news, I guess, to explain to Elle when they were off doing their super mutant training in previous season.
Well, wasn't it at first he had her just literally just spying on the Russians, and she comes across the Demogorgon by accident.
No, I mean in the previous season, you know, when he's basically saying, "Look, kid, we need you to save the world." Like it's like,
Yes.
well, give me everything I need to know.
Yeah. Tell
That's
me
what
what
I mean
else
by
is going on. I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Like once you start, and this is something that it starts to become nitpicky, and you see that an awful lot online as well. It's like everyone is doing nitpicking, and a lot of these nitpicks are not even that big of a deal. Like it's just like watch the show and enjoy it. But I do think the moment you start seeing things like this, there's an issue somewhere.
Yeah.
People can't quite nail down what the issue is. So everything becomes like a bit of a nitpick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the issue with nitpicking and all that sort of stuff is it kind of becomes a little addictive.
Yeah, you
Well,
can
you're
get into the and if that didn't make sense, maybe this didn't make sense either.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you say that, and it turns into this like,
And it's all the Illuminati.
Well, you're investigating. You're trying to investigate. Like this isn't working for me. Why is that?
so let me find the root of the problem.
And everything starts surfacing. Then you know, I'm sure there's plenty of issues in the previous seasons too. But I don't know. There's just something about the pacing and the way that was all put together that just felt kind of flawless.
Yeah. Like we'll never know.
Maybe the shorter episodes helped with those ones.
Well, we'll never know why in season 1 the when Will gets taken, but why the door opened on its own. We'll never know. It's clear that the Demogorgon does not have psychic powers. So what opened that chain on that door? Now we'll never know. Was that Vecna from the beyond? We'll never know. It's never said. We don't have all the answers, but also that's so fucking small. I've seen loads of people bring that up actually as a so what was that about?
Explain everything.
Yeah. And it's like, look, at the end of the day, that whole sequence was just about putting you on edge, bit of suspense, kidnap Will. That is the bones of that scene, you know?
But also like an homage to 80s movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Episode 7. Not a lot happens in episode 7. Episode 7 is where they bring all the party together. They explain, Dustin gets to explain to the group what the Upside Down is. It's a wormhole, and they get to create Operation Beanstalk. So they put together their plan as to how they're going to do this thing. And then I think there is a couple of scenes with Callie and Elle. Again, Callie trying to convince Elle, that when this all goes down, like we got to go down with the ship, basically. We got to put an end to all of this. So I suppose that's sort of one of the emotional beats of that episode. The other, I think, thing that I suppose everyone is going to forever talk about with this episode and purely because the acting is great, but it's in absolutely the wrong place. And as a result, this scene is not liked, but the reason people don't like it is then being hit back with alternative comebacks that are, but that's not the reason people don't like this scene, I don't think. So Will's coming out speech to the whole party, which the Duffers have said is the scene that took them the longest to write. Possibly because I don't know if I feel like they felt they had to do this, like they owed this scene to Will as a character, maybe.
Mm.
But I don't think it works as a scene. I think like Mike comes in and says, we're leaving in 5 minutes to go and execute this plan of saving the world. We are leaving in 5 minutes. And then Will goes, actually, there's something you need to hear. Actually, it's something that everyone needs to hear. And everyone stops what they're doing, which is their plan to go save the world, to sit down and hear Will's monologue. And as an audience member, there's no new information. It's not a revelation because we've known since season 3 for sure that Will's character is gay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's catching the characters up to where the audience is already at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then allowing Will to accept himself and have the party accept him. It's a beautiful thought, but it's just in the wrong place. It's not the right time for the scene. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because this is the one that everyone talks about, and they review Bob this episode apparently, or whatever. But
Yeah, it's a bit of a. I mean, I think it's still technically got not that bad a rating, unless I'm wrong. Let's just look at the wrong episode. Yeah, I got review bomb. Lots of people saying that, oh, all of a sudden it's gone woke. I mean, I have seen some people
Right.
like, oh, all of a sudden Will is gay. And it's like, it's not all of a
right,
sudden.
well, that critique is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it's been fucking blatant for a long time. Like,
It's actually, and I've seen other people as well saying it's like, well, actually, it was hint at in season 1. So,
yes,
anyway, I guess I get it in that I understand why people are complaining. It's they have to go. Don't really have time for this, but I also understand that when you have something bottled up for so long, trying to have it come out is one of the hardest things to do. And then it's the 80s. So
oh yeah,
his mother might have fucking disowned him in that moment. So I understand.
yeah.
But maybe, again, like dealing with the military, put it in episode 4. And that's how he unlocks his powers. And there's a lot of shit where I'm like, maybe put that in the halfway point and then we can concentrate on the main story. I actually have like a few little notes on like how they kind of could have changed the military. But I think, yes, put it somewhere where maybe that influences his power
Yeah, like I don't
coming out.
outright dislike the scene, which is what I think like you're getting
There's
at as
great
well.
moments in it. Like I think Jonathan's his reaction to the whole thing is phenomenal. I think it was great acknowledging that Mike is his
Tammy.
what's her name? Tammy.
Yeah.
That's incredibly well handled.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone needed to be there.
Not
There's-
necessarily, no.
Although those two reactions were great, I kind of wish it was just the D&D party. Like maybe in the back of the truck on the way to go or so. I don't know. Like there's just something about everyone. Stop what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Come listen to my news. Like it's to do with that. I think the placement of it is an issue. It slows down the pace of the show because we're ready to go. We're ready to get
Yes,
on. With the
and that's the biggest issue with it as a
Yeah.
scene.
So, like, I do think the scene needed to happen because it does play a pivotal role in Will not becoming that weak kid that Vecna always said he was. So it needed to happen. Where it happened is the problem. How long it happened, like there's so much that could have been on the cutting room floor. Like I just feel like the season in general, and I think the Duffers came out and said Netflix had absolutely nothing to do with this. I don't believe that for one fucking second. I feel like Netflix were like, can you please drag this out as long as we can? We'll even release it at separate times too. We just
I
need the
actually-
subs, man.
I do think actually
The breakup of the volumes wasn't.
That was terrible
didn't
idea.
work,
it's
yeah.
not as a good idea. I think if they wanted to do that, maybe they should have done like 2 episodes a week.
I don't know. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Like
it all out.
it always made it good, and it led to like I had to. By the time I actually got around to watch the final episode, the amount of having to I had to just stay away from the internet.
Yeah,
That's a terrible idea.
I know. New Year's Day, I left my phone in my pocket all day until I watched that episode. Because I was like, my algorithm is definitely going to fuck me up on this. And people are not respectful with spoilers.
No, and I
At
just
all.
wanted to go on and look at different things, but
Yes.
like the minute I open up Instagram, I'm like, oh yeah, fuck IGN, better put that away. And it was like 2 days later I got a chance to actually watch it. Yeah, it was just I think the overall pacing of the show is a disaster, and they should have put all of that kind of information well into the first 4 episodes. And when episode 4 hits, it should have been just nonstop. Let's fucking go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you're about right. I think the scene needed to happen for a sense of closure. It's not revealing new information to the audience, and if it is, boy, you aren't paying attention. Did you even watch the fucking show? But it's more for the in-universe, in the characters, and Will being able to fully accept himself before going into the final battle. So I get that. If they really wanted everyone in the room to be there, then why not after they hatch the plan? Or while they're about to hatch the plan? Is there something I need to tell you? Is there, like that's a moment where everyone's naturally in the room anyway, as opposed to let's all go get ready, get the guns, let's get in the van, let's go, and then, guys, stop. Let's go back in and sit down. Half the times, it just killed the pacing of we're about to go to the final battle.
Yeah, especially 'cause,
So if it
like,
had to be in this episode, I think earlier in the episode, but I think you are both right in that actually earlier in the season might have helped it even more. Yeah.
Well, you actually do raise a good point that if he said it during the planning moment, and if the plan was that Will was to take Vecna on,
All right, if they were like, Will, we need you to do this, and
then he's like, I
starts
can't,
talking
and
about
then-
his fear, and then it naturally comes out,
right? Then it's like
and then they accept him.
Yeah.
Eric, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that would have done it.
That would
well,
have been his
from
suit
you,
up
Chris,
moment.
but-
That would have been his what? Suit up.
Moment.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But
But
like,
it could have been them like really like scrambling around getting gear together, and then every so often they're saying, and then Will do whatever, and it's like this over reliance on Will do this, Will do that, Will.
And
do
he's
that,
feeling
and
the pressure
then,
of it.
and then he's like, I can't, like he's constantly like, I can't, and then at that moment, almost like Dustin, he actually just almost like an outrage
Yeah.
explains why he can't, and then when they embrace them and say like, that makes absolutely no difference.
Yeah.
Then he feels the confidence in himself and then accepts the plan.
Beautiful. Now go do that again.
yeah. Why are companies not hiring us?
So
I mean,
now,
like, honestly, we have so many like great hindsight pitches on this.
Oh well,
podcast.
it is when it comes to hindsight, really, isn't it?
it's hindsight, Captain Hindsight should be on every set. Anyway, so here we are. We've got mixed thoughts, some great moments, but mixed feelings about Volume 2, I suppose, as a whole, right? So you're going into the final episode. Do they stick the landing? And everyone's going to have very, very different thoughts and feelings on that too. I do think that the final episode is probably divisive, I would say, to a lot of people, and I wonder how it felt for you guys, and then we can go into like the specifics of it. But Eric, what do you think of the final episode of Stranger Things?
There is one thing I'd change.
Wow. Okay, well, we'll come back to you on that one. Okay, Adam, what did you think of the final episode of Stranger Things?
I think you're either someone who really dug the first half and hated the last half, or you prefer the last half over the first half, and I'm definitely of the latter.
I agree with both of you. There's one thing I would change, probably, maybe a couple of other things. I think there's small nitpicks again. There's little things that It's like, oh, that doesn't really make sense, or how come they didn't do that, or where were these guys? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But the feeling I was left on in that kind of Return of the King epilogue sequence, I was in bits. And in that sequence, I think they landed the show.
Yeah, I love the last half of this episode. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah. So, Eric, now I want to ask, what's the one thing you would change?
I would have had the military gone by this point.
Oh, okay.
I would
Just
not
get
have
out
had
of here.
them. Yeah, I would not, because okay, you get rid of the military, you replace them with one other enemy, the enemy that everyone is going, where the fuck were they this whole episode? So the military are gone. They got wiped out in episode 4 or episode 7, or just some point they got wiped out. Because honestly, Linda Hamilton spends like 30 minutes in the show that has like 10 hours. It's kind of weird and a bit of a waste of a character. But I then would have put in Demogorgons.
Oh, yeah. Where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were strangely missing.
And then other than that,
having Will take them on while the fight is going on, like that would have been so fucking cool.
that would have been good.
And then using them against Vecna would have been deadly.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Then it becomes Alien Earth.
You start getting into like, then the good guys are the bad guys, or the bad guys are the good guys. You know,
Well, it's just because he already did kind of control them. You know,
Yeah,
already
he did,
saw
that's true.
that,
That's
but,
true.
But he only managed to like kill them in that moment. There was no real payoff to that ability.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, I like the whole episode.
So, I think the only thing is, right, for the sequence with 11, you do need the military though, because that whole setup needs those suppression stuff,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know how else you do that if they're gone. I don't know how else you get around that whole sequence, that whole setup. But I know what you're saying, because like what doesn't make sense is they just skip forward in time, right?
They don't get their comeuppance. That's what it is.
Well, it's like, so what? The military just let them go? Hopper killed loads of them, and they reinstate him as chief of police. Didn't he die in a mall fire? As far as the town is concerned. So there is little things that I think you could poke at if you really want. But I think the ultimate point of this episode is the emotional payoff more than the. So I think you're going to be two kinds of audience. You're going to be people who are like, the logic of this annoys me, right? Or the emotion of this worked for me. And I'm very much more the emotion worked for me. I think this is quite like the Dark Knight Rises. You can poke holes all day long, and you can go, how the fuck did he get to there before? Look, what? How did he even get into that city? The whole place is fucking, you know.
Cause
he's Batman.
Because he's Batman.
You know, how did he fix the thing? How did he get out of the thing? And all those, you can if you really want. But the emotional payoff in that ending is like, I am willing to ignore all of that, because the feeling it left me with is a feeling of like, we made it, kind of a thing, you know? But yeah, the one thing I personally would change though in the final episode is, and only for a few minutes more, I think I would have liked the final battle to be a little bit longer. I felt that they
Defeated this giant kaiju really easily.
I felt they defeated Vecna and the Mind Flayer pretty quickly for the final battle. So I would have had it just a little bit longer and a little bit more moments of, oh shit, he's just got the upper hand again. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, I liked so much of this episode.
Fucking loved, actually. I actually genuinely thought they did it for a second. When Vecna got into Hopper's mind.
So
That
good.
was a great moment.
That was beautiful.
So
There should have been
good.
way more of that happening though.
Yeah, him getting into people's heads and fucking with them.
Yeah, like it's
That was
kind of a
great.
scarecrow moment. That was a fantastic moment.
Yeah.
That was quickly kind of just like, oh yeah, that's fine though, you know, it's just like, let's move on, kind of, you know, there wasn't enough of that happening. And
For
there
sure.
should have been.
In the battle, yeah.
I think overall the season really lacked the 80s horror that the show is inspired by.
Right. I do think that this last season is more of a fantasy than it is a horror.
Yeah. But it's not like I think, and that's why I absolutely love the end of this. Like, I'm sure a lot of people were like, "Oh fuck me!" Like, this is just the longest ending ever for that last hour. But I loved it because
Yes.
it was a return to what I loved about Stranger Things. Uh, I think that little formula that they had going there, and even when they were like, "Oh yeah, oh, do you want to come to a house party?" Fuck no, we want to go play D&D. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Like we were missing that for so long. Everything that they went back to kind of do and that kind of finalizing, I think that was really missing a lot in this season.
Hmm.
And it's probably because we start this season knowing what the threat is. We've never had that before,
Yeah.
and
So it's like the reverse of a season.
kind of yeah. Um,
It's about getting back to normality rather than starting off with normality and having normality twisted.
but all four seasons were there. There was this strong kind of horror aspect to it,
Hmm.
and this one doesn't have that. More like Aliens than Alien, I guess. Um,
I think it had a little bit of, not in the same way, it depends on what maybe people find scary as well, but I think like the most, like each season has had some Stephen Kingish isms in there, right? And I think the most Stephen King thing in this season was the kids in the dream house. It's kind of the Dark Tower kind of vibe. And yeah, it's very much fantasy, but like when the kids all became like the cult of Vecna basically, and they're like, bring Holly back to the light, back to the light, and they became his vessels. And that was all a bit kind of creepy, like when they were beating Holly up and choking
yeah,
her and stuff.
but I
And
felt it was more Goosebumps creepy than
yeah, for sure.
like yeah. It just not to the same. Like I think what they built up with Vecna in season 4 was just phenomenal, and
Hmm.
that really fell apart very quickly in this season. And they end up then basically saying, actually, wasn't him all along, you
Well,
know?
what's your so yeah? Why is your take on that whole? So we do see the memory where Henry, as a child, found a meteorite
Yeah.
that contained the particles. So everything has an origin point, and it all goes back to that planet basically and this entity.
Hmm.
Um, all the powers, everything can be explained because it all comes from this.
Hmm.
Uh, and it went into him as a child, and then we saw the thing say, like, "Find me," and there Vecna is born basically. But is I was really worried as well for a moment when Will was like, "Join us, help us fight him." I was like, "Please don't, please fucking don't." And when he was like, "No, like we are one. I am evil. Basically, I want to kill humanity." I was like, "Oh, thank God!" It's like, don't redeem Vecna. It's not. He's way too far gone for that. But do you think that he's not evil at all, and that it is just the mind flare,
I
or do you believe him when he says, "No, I actually chose this and I want this"?
I think it's more like going again because they have I think they have come out to say that the ending was very inspired by Return of the King. Like even with their end credits, the style of it and everything. So staying in line with Lord of the Rings, if Vecna is not Sauron, he is Saruman.
I think he's Gollum, but yeah.
Mm,
And in this season, he turns into Gollum.
kinda.
And the big creature Shelob.
It starts with a murder. Well, and then the interesting question there though is like, because it's like, he does. I know the guy shoots him.
Yeah.
The scientist guy shoots him because the scientist is like, "What I've got here is so dangerous that I'm not willing to let anyone touch it." But
He does bash his head
as a
in.
child, he does bludgeon that man with a rock and keep going. And there's like, I think there was always a psychopath in him. I don't think it's just that this turned him evil. I think there was always an element of that he could have always been evil actually, but now he's got this. You know, uh,
Maybe. I wasn't really thinking that hard about it. Um, like it could be like a Gollum situation,
for sure.
like that it's like overly enhancing that side of him, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, I don't think it's not like he's a redeemable character or anything like that. But I think I
No.
would have liked if that was the moment that defeated him. Like
What do you mean?
when Will was basically revealing to him how fucking weak he is.
Right.
Because what I liked about the previous seasons was that every moment of defeating something
Mm-hmm.
generally came down to a great performance,
Mm-hmm.
not a massive fight.
Yeah.
Like there's fighting involved, but it came down to two great actors just fucking having it out with some amazing dialogue. Thinking back to like the Billy sequence,
Yeah.
even them trying to exercise Will in season 2. Like
Yeah.
there was always just amazing performance moments, and that was one of them. And I think having Will pretty much strip Vecna of his abilities because he like makes him weak in that moment of his like realization of what he actually is or something. I think that could have been enough really before Elle actually does her final thing.
Puts him on the spike.
Yeah. But for him to kind of go, yeah, no, I'm good, and then just like get back up, and it's like, no, I'm all powerful and strong or whatever. It's just, and yeah, I think for Will to find the strength to make Vecna weak in that moment would have been cool.
Yeah, for sure. What'd you think of the pain tree turning into a giant physical embodiment of the Mind Flayer?
Pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw the tree and it was like, that's legs, that's go to wake up.
Well,
right?
there's also the giant heart. You know,
That's
the
the
giant heart
yeah,
inside.
the
It's
giant
like,
heart.
That's
Like,
got to
the
be the
Flayer.
Mind Flayer, right? It's got to be. I thought it
Is
looked
the
cool
mind,
though. The design
is it
was
the
cool.
mind flare or is it a nether brain? Just putting out some more D&D there.
I don't fucking know.
No, it's a mind flare.
I suppose, so when we were talking about season 4, I likened Vecna to Sephiroth. And I likened his relationship to 11 to Sephiroth. So I actually, because a lot of people are saying that it's the Mind Flayer is the villain all along, and Vecna is just another, a puppet of that thing. It's like, maybe not. I think the relationship is actually very Sephiroth Genova. And everything's got Genova cells in it, and it's all controlled and everything. But I think Vecna has become more than what he started off as. And he has ascended to it. And plus, he's trying to bring the reunion and the merging of worlds. It's basically Final Fantasy VII.
Because that does look like a giant meteor coming down.
It is. He's casting meteor. That's the thing. They need to stop the spell. He just needed to collect all the
I thought
materia or whatever.
CGI wise, very fucking impressive. For
Yeah,
that
very
creature,
good.
that the design is fucking class. Yes, it is killed way too quickly for what is that, like a 30, 40 foot high.
It's definitely more. It's
kaiju.
massive. Yeah, it's massive.
It's massive, but like, yeah, very cool monster. The fucking Steve and Dustin just getting on there, just stabbing the shit out of its eggs.
Yeah, and everyone
class.
like casting fireball at it basically
Yeah.
with their flame weapons was cool. I liked that Nancy became Ellen Ripley at the end.
Yeah,
Very much so. You know, I thought that she looked cool. She looked great. What'd you guys think of Joyce being the one to finally finish him off with the axe?
That was a cool moment. Like just being able to see how all of this has impacted every single person.
With each strike?
Yeah,
That was great.
Really
and we
nicely done.
we got justice for Barb. Actually,
Yeah.
Pretty much. We got justice for everyone. Really, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did love that every time she hit it, it was shown who he affected and how he affected them. Which I think is also in itself cementing the idea that he is not a puppet. Visually.
No, it's
kinda,
not. He is the big bad. It's just that when you have I suppose when the Mind Flayer appears again and it was the thing that kind of like corrupted him and all this kind of stuff, it just kind of goes away from what they initially were trying to establish in season 4, which was him entered this new realm and he reshaped something in the image that he wanted to become, which was a spider and all this kind of stuff. It does put him into the puppet role, whether or not he is.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes back because when you have like, oh, the Mind Flayer's behind all this, and then it goes, No, the Mind Flayer is not behind this. Vecna made the Mind Flayer. It's like, no, actually, it is the Mind Flayer though. It does come a bit like, you know, they're kind of flip-flopping a little bit on what the right main idea is.
Hmm.
And that final form of the Mind Flayer is kind of reminiscent of like what we saw in season 3
Yeah.
a little bit in terms of his look. I actually think this more spectral look of the season 2 one is far more terrifying.
Yeah, well, you can't fight that one. I always
No,
wonder,
yeah.
it's like, why does it make itself physical? It's easier to defeat. It's like a
Yeah.
Resident Evil boss. It's like,
Yeah.
once it gets bigger, there's more things to shoot.
But I did find
That's true.
the showdown quite convincing actually. The way they decided to take it on and
Yeah, lead it to the canyon and then
Yeah.
hit it from there.
I wasn't at any moment thinking like, this is a bit naff. It was quite convincing. I just wasn't as interested in that side of it, the kind of CGI fest fight. Although the CGI was great,
Yeah.
it's just it makes the whole thing much more larger than life than what we were used to seeing from Stranger Things, which was a little bit more of a confined, one family dealing with the problem kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is actually looking at Resident Evil is a great example. It's like, when you're used to Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 7 as
Yeah.
the method, once you start like bringing it out and become Resident Evil 6, it starts to get a bit crazy.
For sure. I did like as well though there's another action sequence in the finale that I suppose a lot of people aren't going to talk about because the big showdown with Vecna and the Mind Flayer is so big and grand that it's obviously going to be the talking point. But the showdown in the Hawkins lab, where Hopper takes out the guys in the hallway, and then
that's
even
cool,
when
yeah.
11
And he-
makes your man shoot himself in the head, I was like, that whole sequence was, and even when he was like interrogating Hopper and he was threatening to kill Callie, I thought that whole sequence was really well done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was. But I remember when like, he sat him down on the chair, and I think Callie was on the ground or something like that. And even down to the lighting. When I was watching it with Pagan, I was like, oh, I've seen this before. Because even his look and everything, it just looked like The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He also gave me actually big, which I didn't say in Volume 1 when we were discussing it. Hopper gave me big Kurt Russell vibes this season.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like
a
the
little,
thing?
a little bit of The Thing and a little bit of, what was it, Escape from LA or Escape from New York? That was like a mixture of those two things.
Bliskin.
But, oh, yeah, all Kurt Russell vibes was what I got from
I do like
Hopper
every
this
time.
season.
Every time D&D is mentioned, Hopper's reaction. So fucking,
Yeah,
it's so
it's
fucking
funny.
funny.
Jesus
It is funny.
Christ.
But they're like, the Abyss. Why the Abyss? A D&D. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's good.
Do you, what is the Abyss a good name, Eric? Do you know the Abyss from D&D? Is that a good title for the planet?
I'm going to trust the Duffer Brothers and say, yeah, I don't fucking know.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know that much.
I did like the Lord of the Rings reference as well from Mr. Clark, which we didn't mention, but that made me very happy when he said melon and it opened the gate.
Yeah, very good.
I was
But,
like,
he
fucking
was a bit
incredible.
him and what's her name?
Fucking
Vicky,
Erica.
Benny.
Erica.
Oh, Erica.
Yeah, it's
Can't
like
spell America without Erica.
they kind of, the military arrived and scene, and we didn't see any of them up until graduation. I thought that was a bit weird. That
Will there be a final episode extended edition where there's a lot of extra clips
I have heard that apart. Yeah.
releasing only on Blu-ray or something?
Yeah.
Release the Duffer cut. No, I'm joking. I'm sure there isn't. Sure.
Well, Netflix have done it before. Not with
Yeah, but
Stranger
like
Things,
this-
but they.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this looks like the opposite. This looks like there should have been a ton of stuff clipped. But I do understand why the last episode was the 2 hour. You couldn't make these two different episodes. Man,
No.
bow out.
Yeah, no. No,
That last
I
episode.
like that it was a feature-length episode. I think it works for what the show was, and I like the ending.
I like the ending.
I like
Return
the
of-
ending.
The Return of the King ending.
Yeah, we got to talk about this stuff now. God,
Yeah.
Yes.
The Return of the King ending, it really cemented the point of, because I remember just thinking to myself, when it was over, I was like, oh, really? Collie was like the only one to die in the last episode? But then when seeing the ending, I was like, no. This is right. Because I immediately thought of Return of the King. where I was like, Théoden is like the only guy to die as a Return of the King. But you know what? It's because killing anyone else off would have just been doing it for the sake of it.
Right.
But it
Well,
feels more right to have those characters still alive and get to see that ending or where they end up. So with Stranger Things, it like killing anyone else off probably would have just felt like you're just killed them for the sake of it, and then that's a whole drama you have to write in and deal with, while having the ending that they did. Just
Trying to go back to normal.
well, all of
fuck,
their
the amount of tears I had that I was just sitting there, mom and dad in rooms like. I'm like your man from fucking Get Out. Do you know that scene, Chris?
Yeah, in the couch.
I was like, don't emote, but also the tears are coming down.
Oh man. Well, like the thing is, I think you're right here, because I think like all of us going in were expecting deaths, right? Who's going to die? Who's going to die? And that became the top point. And I think some people are actually disappointed at the lack of deaths, right? But I think when you see the ending, whether you like it or not, you might totally disagree with it. But if you look at all the other seasons, anytime a character dies, a single character, there's usually a whole story arc that goes on for the whole next season about that. Every death has repercussions. So like Barb dies in season 1. The entirety of Nancy's arc in season 2 is about trying to get justice for Barb. Bob dies in season 2. Joyce can't move on in season 3. And Hopper's trying to get her to move on, but she can't, and she has flashbacks to Bob. Eddie dies in season 4. Dustin is a completely different person in season 5. You know what I mean? So if they want to do this,
Billy's death,
and Max as well. So every time they kill someone, it has huge repercussions on characters. So I do understand that for these characters to move on and finally gain the life that was robbed from them as children, that if you started killing like Steve and stuff, there's no way Dustin could get up and give that speech at the end and then play D&D with his friends and then ride off into the sunrise. You know what I mean? That you can't do that. You'd have to have now he's dressing like Steve all the time because now he's mourning that guy, you know? So I do get why there isn't a huge death count in the final episode. Because that's not what they're trying to write. They're not trying to shock the audience. They're trying to give their characters an emotional send-off.
and I do think the desire for more deaths in the season throughout is not so much that. I think that's a lot of people just like saying, "Oh, I would like that to happen because that would be more satisfactory than what has occurred." I think it's more that there was a lack of agency.
Yeah, a lack of stakes.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, okay, let's sit around and talk, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think that complaint was really just down to, in terms of the audience mind, that is as creative as they can get.
But I think as well, like, and I think you've hit a good point. Like, I think the time for a character death was earlier in the season, not the last episode.
Yep.
So that they could deal with it during the season, but not at the end. Do you know? But I suppose the question is, on 11.
Oh, I love how they handled that. That was, I think, regardless of what way you...
And how Mike explained it, and...
Brilliant. Yeah.
That was amazing.
I love
because
that. Like,
either or of those situations, you're going to make people fucking annoyed. Someone's going to get annoyed whether she survives or not. But leaving it open-ended like that...
yeah, it just lets the audience choose whether they believe. Like,
oh man, there's going to be so many I Believe Stranger Things t-shirts.
Yeah. It's going to be
the new Always.
No, it's the new Frodo Lives.
Yeah. Absolutely.
or of course you have the people going, well, no, she did die because there's no way Collie could have in any way timed that to perfection.
Do you believe, Eric?
Fuck. This is like, what's your favorite thing?
No, it's just purely given what they showed you.
I don't know. I don't know because I can't remember if the weapons needed to be pointed directly at 11 or if they just needed to be just close there.
Within proximity or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember because if they're within proximity, then it would have to be something else affected it. But if it has to be pointed directly at her, then I think it's Mike just wanting to believe. Because they weren't pointing at her, they were pointing at everyone else. So it depends on how those things work.
For sure. Adam, do you believe?
I I don't know. I don't.
Like, it doesn't matter. I don't
It
care.
doesn't actually. Yeah, it doesn't actually matter.
But
It's
it
like
matters for the spin-off show, Adam.
Well,
Matters. No,
it
no,
matters
don't
is
do
that
that.
those the characters are is helping them move on. Like I think that was just amazing the way that was written. But I do remember like when Callie was shot in that moment.
Mhm.
I thought like, oh, this is an illusion. She's not actually shot.
I thought that too at the
Because
time.
I thought this was her way of listening to Hopper and allowing Jane to move on by thinking
Right.
she's dead.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And it's
Mhm.
like that you can do something similar, I guess. So I knew there was going to be something to do with Callie and the illusion thing because there
Yes.
was no major payoff to bringing that character back.
Yes.
And I thought
Except
that
for
could have
this
been it.
moment.
And then they did that, and I was like, "Oh no, that's way better. That's way better."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I believe. I think she's alive. I actually think Mike is bang on with his theory. Pretty much, for the most part. Maybe she's not where waterfalls are, but I don't know. But I love that, and I hope the Duffers never in an interview say one way or the other. I hope they forever just say, "Well, what do you think?" And leave it at that. And the evidence is there if you want to find it for one way, and the evidence is there if you want to find it for another way. But it's cool. The one ending in the epilogue that I didn't care for really was the four older teens, the young adults, I suppose,
oh yeah,
on the rooftop. I felt
yeah.
nothing for that scene, and I didn't think they got as good a send off.
Except for Steve.
Steve's a coach now.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah. No, I just mean the interaction between them didn't feel as emotionally as a payoff as even like Hopper and Joyce being in Enzo's and Hopper proposing to Joyce, and they're going to move to Montauk, which was the original name of the show, and start a whole new life there. I was like, that feels like the both of them getting closure and moving on, starting again. You know, that felt really good. Hopper's scene with Mike on the bench was amazing. I mean, from there onwards, I was like, hold it together, man. Hold it together. Jesus.
I think
Plus-
the best scene in that whole episode is the next four kids running down to the basement to play D&D.
Oh my
and
God.
Mike, Jesus, man. Because like Mike's face in that moment is so like, you know, whatever you're thinking as the audience, you just like project it onto his face. Like,
Yeah.
because for me, it was like, oh man, like here he is going to watch them have the childhood that he never had. But at the same time, you can see that little smirk at the end, where
Yes.
that they'll have the childhood that they had. You know, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly the guys playing D&D in the basement and then the next generation coming to play D&D in the basement is the perfect ending to Stranger Things.
Yes.
I thought there's no better, whatever about the whole episode, there is no better single. It's kind of like when I get to the last episode of Lost, right? And there's so many issues with Lost, and there's so many things unexplained, and there's so many like things you can give out about and stuff. But I just can't, like, anytime someone gives out about Lost, like, I totally know where you're coming from, but I will forever defend the last scene of Lost, because the last
Him
scene
lying
of
back down?
Lost, huh?
Him lying back down.
Him lying down,
and
closing
then-
his eyes.
yeah, yeah.
The plane then.
The last scene of Lost is the perfect way to end Lost, and the last scene of Stranger Things is the perfect way to end Stranger Things.
They even have the door closing the same way that they do, like more or less the same way they do in Return of the King.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
It's closed and then it fades and everything.
but the emotional version of the
Ah.
kids' theme,
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
as each character says goodbye to their character and leaves the campaign behind forever. I was in bits. I was like really like struggling not to like just bawl in that
I
scene.
know. I just thought it was great because I was like, you know, I can't think of anything that feels like the Return of the King without it being without it being a blatant ripoff.
Yeah.
They just managed to capture the spirit of it,
Yeah.
like throughout. Like it was really, really good. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that last half.
Go
I'm
on,
really
Eric.
glad that they did this long ending, because I've seen a couple of shows where they almost, when they're finishing it off, they almost rush the sort of send off. It's like the last like 10, 20 minutes maybe, or something like that, depending on the length of the episode. And it's always just feel like, I always feel like this sort of like hollowness of going, oh really? That's it? Like I would have expected a little bit longer for a finale, like for a send off. So the fact that they gave it the full hour, they showed everybody. The whole graduation scene was great. The fact that Dustin rips it off the Hellfires, he flips.
Hellfire lives.
Yeah, she got a t-shirt. And he completes Eddie's request.
Graduation.
Flipping the principal, the bird, like that whole thing. Yeah,
And then they play Iron Maiden.
yeah.
Great. Loved it.
And then of course him mentioning about the D&D, they have the chaos good and the chaos evil, and then you have Hopper going, Jesus Christ. It was so fucking good. Just having that ending, the pictures with when his mother is trying to take the pictures, but then she's crying.
Yeah. That was very, very good. And what about the sequence in the basement, Eric? How did you feel about that? How did you feel about?
Did that get you, man?
Did that get you the same way it got me?
Yes,
Or
yeah, of
more
course.
so?
Yeah. I was pretty much from like the minute the epilogue was started,
Yeah.
all the way to the end.
Yeah.
I was like, just don't emote, but also I can't hold this in.
Yeah. It was. I think it's a beautiful. Like there were so many pacing issues, and things with season 5 that weren't hitting the landing quite well. But that final part as the ending of the whole show, I think they for the most part nailed it.
Yeah, like it didn't even have any editing problems. The fucking acting was great. It was shot better. I don't know what the fuck. They just pulled in clutch with that last half.
They also said that each character's last scene was the actor's last day.
Oh.
And I have to say, Finn Wolfhard is excellent in that last episode. It's probably his best performance, and I don't mean this in any negative way, but it probably is his best performance since season 1.
Yeah, he does get a bit sidelined, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I think he nailed it in the end there. He's so emotional.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably because they're pulling on the real emotion of they might not see each other anymore.
Well, this is what got me. Each time they put the character on and it
bro.
has the name on it, that's them saying goodbye to their character forever.
Yeah. And they finished the campaign. Oh.
Yeah.
Never
worst
happens.
feeling.
And they're going up the stairs and saying goodbye to their childhood forever.
Yeah. And then
It's just
moving off and being a born adult.
Yeah.
I love I love that they included Strahd, because that apparently is supposed to be the best D&D campaign ever.
Right, but it's also, if you think about it, Callie described Dr. K as a vampire.
Yes.
So their last campaign is they killed a vampire and they used the mage, and then he explains what happened to the mage with the suppression stones and stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're actually playing a fantasy version
Of what happened.
of what happened.
That's what my mom actually went. Is like, so were they just doing a campaign the whole time?
Okay, let's talk about this, because I've heard this from other people too.
They're not going to be that fucking upset.
Oh, no, you might be.
Yeah, you got emotionally invested in that. So, the end credits, they play the actual version of Heroes. I thought it was a very fitting final
Yes.
song, because the emotional version of Heroes is played twice throughout the show. Now they play the actual version of Heroes. And they made it, they've done it. And they in the same way as in Return of the King, where the end credits is like drawings of a book,
Yeah.
they stylized the end credits with a D&D,
Yeah.
like with character stats and everyone. And
Yeah,
then
I love that. That was
it was amazing. And then the book closes and it says
Yeah.
Stranger Things, a D&D campaign book or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the show ends. And that fucking image alone has done exactly to Stranger Things what the crashed plane sequences in the credits of Lost have done to the fan base, where people have said, "Oh, so none of it was real. The whole thing was a D&D campaign." And I'm like, that is definitely not what that means.
No, it's just a stylistic.
It was
thing.
it was just a stylized way of doing the fucking
Stylistic choice, but also Mike says that his journey is he goes and writes their adventures.
Yeah, the campaign book.
So yeah, Mike wrote a D&D campaign book about their adventures. That's it. It's not. Yeah, I'm so surprised when people talk that
I
the
think
end credits is the twist of the whole show.
I kind of think like when people do that, they're just kind of like, isn't that funny though? And I'll just jab it now. I'll just throw that up online now and throw a bit of a shit stir. I don't think anyone actually believes that, or at least I hope
I
not.
don't know. I think some people do.
Did you find though when they're is it when they're finished and they're driving out? So before military sequence as they're coming out,
Mm.
and they said, "Let the countdown begin,"
Yes.
and then they throw on a song.
Yes.
Did you feel that that was like the wrong song choice?
It didn't seem like the song I would choose. I know that this whole season the Duffer Brothers had been talking about that they were going to be using a song this season that has never shown up in any other media, apparently, because the
I hope
artist
that's not it, because that would just
never
be
let it.
fucking that'd be annoying.
Well, apparently it is the two of those songs. Apparently it's Prince's music.
Oh, for fuck me. Right, okay. So When the Doves Cry is what came on
Yeah.
at that moment. And I was like, really? Because isn't that song about like heartbreak?
Yeah,
And
would it?
that's your like rally? Surely the final countdown.
I was just
I-
about to say,
Like, I don't know if
surely
like,
the
maybe,
final countdown.
maybe the era isn't correct. I don't really know what
I
year.
think it
'cause
is. No, I think it was out.
Right,
I think
okay.
it was out.
Like, if you're going to say, let the countdown begin. Fucking final countdown.
As they're leaving, that would have been
Like,
sick.
the next sequence,
Being
Prince,
Purple
sure.
Rain is
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
But when the doves cry as you're doing your heroic little fucking, like, I love the song, man, but fuck me.
Yeah, it did feel because I was like, I love this song, but you're right, it doesn't actually fit the moment of what they're doing. Versus every other time they do a needle drop, it really like fits the moment,
Yeah.
you know. And but I think the idea is that they're playing that whole record, isn't it? So I think that record starts with that song and ends with Purple Rain. And
Sure.
I wonder, is it more that they wanted Purple Rain, but they were like, if we're going to do it,
How do we fit it in?
concept with a record, then
just a
we have to
mixtape.
start with what it starts with or whatever. I don't know.
Get out a mixtape.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been a vinyl then though. But I thought
true.
the visuals of the upside down exploding looked fucking great.
Yeah.
Thought that looked, and even it,
Yeah, it
like,
looks incredible.
there was a cool shot of it like being destroyed behind 11. That was like, holy shit, that looks like a wallpaper. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think the money seems well spent here as far as visuals go. There's a
Yeah.
couple of sequences like towards the end, the final showdown in the abyss, where everyone does look a bit green screeny. Like
Little bit, yeah.
they are
Yeah.
not there clearly. The background looks incredible. Them comped in not so much. So there's a little bit of that happening. But as far as like the CGI on creatures, environment, special effects, all that side of it was like top notch.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts or anything else anyone wanted to bring up before we wrap up our Stranger Things spoiler cast?
I stand by what I said. I do think this is the worst season. I think the only like thing that I really really enjoyed throughout was that last hour of the final episode. I think everything else of season 5, unfortunately, it seemed like there was a lot of meddling going on. They say there wasn't. I don't believe that.
Okay.
Because even down to like the way certain things are shot, I know Netflix has this like mandate that things have to be center framed when you're shooting things, and the reason for that is so that they can clip it and put it into shorts for portrait orientation for YouTube Shorts and TikTok and things
TikTok
like
and
that.
stuff, yeah.
So that really dictates how it's going to be like framed that lend itself to looking a little bit more like a old school TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was kind of flat as well in many capacities. So there's something about it that didn't quite have the quality of the previous seasons, except for that last half hour or that last hour of that last episode. That felt like, oh, we're back at Stranger Things now.
Eric, any final thoughts? Anything you want to say on?
I wonder what it'd be like to watch it straight through.
Yes, I
this
agree.
season.
I would like to do. I want to do that.
The
Oh, the
whole-
whole show.
Well,
The
the
whole
season,
show?
the season and the whole show. So it like because I remember I had an issue with season 4. Sorry, I know you said final thoughts. This is my final thoughts.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
My final thoughts going to be an hour long with like
Yeah, this is the big epilogue.
yeah.
Yep.
So I remember I had issues with episodes with season 4, the big gap, volume 1 to volume 2.
Yeah.
And this one, I think, again, breaking up is not a good idea. I noticed that Witcher 3 is an issue and stuff like that. Sometimes with the Amazon shows, it's kind of annoying when you're breaking it up so much. So I do wonder what it'd be like to watch it straight through. Does it flow
But just
better?
just this season.
Just this season?
Yeah, okay.
And
yeah.
then for shits and giggles, why not just watch the whole show again?
The whole show
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with Jerick. I would like to now watch the whole season without those breaks between, and just see if I do think there's still going to be some nitpicks and problems, some things that work, some pacing issues, that kind of stuff. But I do wonder if it feels like it comes together better as a season if you just watch it through, and don't have that gap between where it's like, oh, we just got momentum and now we lose momentum because we're waiting, you know?
Yeah.
So I would like to watch it that way, and then of course I got to watch the whole thing and see, you know, from start to end how it all pays off. But like, given that I had the feeling at that ending already, I do think the ending works.
The ending
on a huge level. I don't quite know. It's not my favorite. I don't think it's the best season they've done. It's not my favorite season. I don't think it's better than season 4, and I don't think it's better than season 1. It might be as a season as a whole on par with season 3. For
Those
me,
are fighting words. I'll fight you.
Oh, okay. I guess we're fighting now. But again, yeah, I want to rewatch the whole thing through. But I'm so happy with how they ended it. I said years ago that I think how the whole thing should end is with a D&D game. However, I thought it was going to be like their kids. Like it was going to go forward in time. It's now the next generation playing. And in a way, it is the next generation. But I didn't realize it was going to be just the next generation down as opposed to like. So I was just so super satisfied with that's how they ended Stranger Things. And the way they brought Eleven's journey to a close, I think is actually perfect. And you could forever debate it if you want, but I think it's a great way to bring the whole show to an end, and I'm satisfied. So that is our thoughts on Stranger Things. Just before we finish up, and obviously this is only now, this could change, especially with rewatches. You want to rank the seasons?
Oh, you sick son of a
Okay.
bitch.
Only based off how you feel right now. This could obviously change in the future, but while we're here, we have all 5 seasons there. There won't be another. How would you rank the Stranger Things season? So I think, Adam, we know where season 5 is for you.
Yeah.
So
You know, right? So yeah.
yeah, take us through the rest though.
Okay. I think I would rank season 4 as the best.
Okay.
Then 1, then 3, then 2, then 5.
Whoa, interesting. Eric?
I have okay. 4-1. Then 2-5-3.
Okay.
You absolutely have to do a rewatch of 3.
I've rewatched 3.
I rewatched them all this year. I'm gonna go.
But 5 has the emotional ending, so immediately just like tips it up, like, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Billy just outdoes everything.
So I gotta go. 1 is my favorite. 4, 2, 5, 3 at the moment.
My goodness gracious me.
But like for me, they're all excellent though. Like I still think it's
Even
like,
5? Wow.
Yeah, for the most part, I still think it's like, I like Stranger Things is still, I think, one of the greatest shows ever made. Like full stop. Probably my favorite show. So, I'm biased, like, you know. Like you can give me your worst Stranger Things episode, and I still I'm gonna go, yeah, I like that one. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that one does show up in
Callie?
episode. Yeah, that is season 2. It's in season 2.
Yeah. I think that episode alone just derails 2 for me.
That's so interesting. You can skip it, and then the rest of the season is just fine.
I know.
It's just 11 goes off, and then when she comes back, she looks a little different. And that's pretty much all that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they make reference to that in They make that reference that season 5. Hopper says it to
Yep.
her after they get Callie. Bitching or something like that. You look bitching.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. He does.
He's a good dude.
So, guys, we want to know all your thoughts on season 5 of Stranger Things. What do you think of the ending? Did it land for you? Are you disappointed? Let us know all your thoughts. Do you believe? I want to know if you believe. Let us know. Just, I believe or I don't believe in the comments if you want. And rank the seasons as well if you want to. Let us know how you would rank them. So if you're watching YouTube, jump down in the comments, share all your thoughts, share your rankings, share your theories, share whether it landed for you. If you enjoyed this episode, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell for our last few episodes that are still to come. If you're listening on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take again to give your take on Stranger Things, the final season. Thank you so much for checking out our spoiler cast. We will be back to talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.